everyone, I hope you're all well. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, it's where I talk about twin flame process. So this is just going to be a really quick video in case anybody is interested in what's happened in my process since I put out the last video about my process. So it has been quite interesting. I did say that I thought my reunion was coming on the 17th I think it was 17th of October actually. No, that didn't happen. But lots of things have happened, and I won't go into all of them, but just a few things that were really that have been really important. So firstly, and this happened at the end of September, was when I was doing my to-do list. Or looking at my to-do list, and I had several things on there. I heard the word book, so I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know if they meant I was going to read a book, buy a book, write a book, or anything like that, which one of those it might be. So I just kind of ignored it actually. I did finish off my to-do list pretty soon after that, so I got some major things out of the way. And then since the last video I put out, I had a really huge shift happen. So as you know, if you listened to me before, I've gone through a lot of fear in this house. I mean, not just this house, but since I came into this house, particular fears. It's come up in a particular way. So this is around little creatures that come into the house through in the corners, around the skirting boards, at the edge of the floor. And one thing that happened when I first moved into this house was when I was doing the cards, and the cards sucked me in, like looking at fear, and it was like the Dementors in Harry Potter. So it's like I was sucked into like fear. So it was just for me to, when that first happened, when I moved into the house, I was being shown how you get sucked into fear and how it's a really visceral thing, you know. And then with the house itself and these little creatures coming in, again, I would be walking around the house, and I think I said this before, I know I've said this before, and I'd be just literally looking in the corners and looking at the skirting board all the time. And I had one incident, this is right at the end, so this would be just after the last video, where I was looking around the corners and the edges of the room, and literally I saw five different creatures, all like one after the other, and I was just laughing because it was just like, oh my God, you know. After that happened, what happened was I was just guided completely to not look down at all, and since that I haven't looked at the floor. It's like I walk around the house and I'm now looking up, and I just don't look at the floor, and it's really weird because I now realise how I was just like when the cards show me you get viscerally sucked into fear and you're looking at fear, that I was doing that in the house all the time. I was looking at where the fear was, and I was in complete state of resistance, you know, tension inside my body because of looking down and looking for these things to come out all the time. And now I'm not looking down at all, not at all. And it's really hard to explain how dramatically that's shifted both my sense of beingness but also everything, you know, to be not in that state of fear anymore, that visceral state of like tension and like stress and like when's the next one coming out kind of a feeling. So that's happened. That was really interesting. I've had other things happen as well to signify that my process is kind of over. Basically being told the healing's finished, like the physical body healing that I had to go through, that's all done. So, this is the other thing that happened. After this, right, well, actually this is pretty much all of October and pretty much so far all of November, is that I've been just moving around my house. I haven't got a to-do list. It's all done. Apart from pleasant things like gardening and sewing and creative stuff like that. No nasties anymore, right? Because I got the taxes done in the middle of the night. You might have heard me say that. Around the same time they said book. But I was been walking around, just moving around my house, just living, and it's been like there's something I've got to do, but I can't figure out what it is I've got to do. This energy coming in like that, like what is it I'm supposed to be doing? And I just couldn't get a grip on it of what it is that I'm meant to do. So I was just pretty much feeling like, well, you know, I haven't got anything to do, you know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. At the same time, because they said the 17th to me, it's turned out 17th, which actually equates to the star card as well, was like the end of the healing process. It was the 17th of November, not the 17th of October. Of course, you go through this process, and I'm just like everybody else, and I think every shift is going to relate to my reunion, and that's it, on the nose, you know. It's like, and of course, there's like, I'm a human as well, so I've got this hopefulness, I guess, that I can't, that it's not possible to clear it completely, that it's around everything's going to shift and that's going to happen. So, of course, that's what I personally, egoically read into my own process from my personal egoic perspective, which of course I've got because I'm human and I can't help having that, despite the fact that I do channel non-physical in relation to this process all the time and what it is. It's a real dichotomy, and it's a real like catch-22, and I can't get away from it. In the past it's really frustrated me and made me really angry and all sorts of things. And I guess there's a level of acceptance that has come with that's just how it is. I still don't understand really completely, utterly why that is, that I have to be guided into reading the whole process energetically and also going through it physically. Because it's like, as long as you've got the egoic belief that your reunion's coming next, then how can you completely detach from what is that thing that you're meant to detach from, which is that you're going to be with that person? It's a dichotomy, right? It's like a catch-22. You can't, unless you just stop being human completely, which you can't. So anyway, so like so I was walking around feeling there's something I had to do. I didn't know what it was. Also feeling like I've been told when a reunion's going to be, and that's coming, and that would have been October. It didn't happen. Then I thought November, and I thought, oh well, that makes sense because it's just before the lunar eclipse, which is the full moon that comes on the 19th. So this is just the last couple of days, because today is Sunday the 21st, and yesterday was the 20th. Saturday, Friday was the 19th with the full moon. On the 18th, I just had a really nice day, really lovely energy. Played the game, my Grand Theft Auto, drank some Prosecco, ate some really nice foods and that kind of stuff, and just took it easy, and was thinking my reunion's coming, it's got to be coming before this moon. And of course it didn't. And the moon, here I slept through the moon, not much to report there. But then I got up on the 20th, because I stayed up quite late on that moon day so that I could sleep through it, because it was in the morning here and I wanted to sleep through it. And the actual high point of it, which was 9 a.m. So, and then I got up and I was like, well, what the bloody hell is going on then? Because here it has not happened again, as you do. And I just don't understand. I'm confused. Why do you keep telling me it's coming and it doesn't come? And I start to get a bit angry, and I start to get into ego, as you do, and fight up against what is, you know, which is not where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be in a position of accepting everything that is, loving everything that is. And of course, then you have another dichotomy, because of course you are loving everything that is and everything is fine, but you still have in the back of your mind your reunion's coming. So how much of that feeling fine is down to thinking that your reunion's coming? And there's no escape from it being partly being because the reunion's coming. So then having to face again what is inside of me, which is that my whole happiness is not complete as it is, because it can't be, because it's not there. The reunion has not come. So again, it's like, how can I find freedom from what is not there? Anyway, so and just describing it, because hopefully you'll recognise it inside yourself, that that's what it is that you're up against, basically, with this process. So that's what the process is, right? It's like coming to terms with what is. But how can you come to terms with what is when you're constantly told that something is going to come? That's the process, right? Because in that process you turn dark to light, because the dark comes up inside of you in terms of the resistance of what is, yet again, of what you have not arrived at. And then you start to purge through that resistance and come into a better feeling place in regard to your present existence. So it's completely turning dark to light. We've said that before. That's what the process is, right? Coming up through you, through your whole experience of being alive, and you meeting that halfway, and the process as well, throwing things up in your path that are going to give you even more opportunity to come into the light around what is the dark. So opportunities coming up in your life for you to find happiness in relation to what is. That's basically that's what that is. So that's why you bring to yourself, and never forget that you bring to yourself everything that you bring to yourself on this path, because everything is meant to be how it is, and everything is for you to come into the light in relation to it. And that would regard any kind of physical circumstances, as in where you're living, the house that you live in, the people that are around you, the situations that you go through, the jobs that you're in, but also inside yourself, all the feelings in relation to all those things. So all of that is the process. In relation to all of that, you'll be turning dark to light. So coming into a happy place, a more accepting place, a more satisfied place in relation to everything, a more vibrationally accurate place in relation to everything that exists in your whole spectrum of existence, physical, mental, emotional, etc. Well, that's it. Physical, mental, emotional, because the etc. is vibrational, and that comes about because of the resolution in regard to the other three things. Anyway, so yes, so I was fighting up against it, and this would have been yesterday. Also, I just felt like I'd been through another battle with Mike Tyson. My whole body bruised and felt broken. I feel like I've got a bite mark on my leg, actually. I know some people have talked to me about that before, and I've been curious as to that experience that they've had, but I appear to have what looks like a bite mark on my leg, so it's weird. Anyway, yeah, so where are we at? So then that's yesterday, right? Now, this is what happened. So I've got this like little home tent thing, which is a sauna that I bought. You're supposed to sit there with your head sticking out of it, but I sit cross-legged inside it with the heat turned full up. And it's taken place of me I used to get a lot of downloads, a lot of clarity when I was in the bath. It's taken place of the bath. It's like instant clarity you get. So I highly recommend, they're not that expensive, that you can find them online on eBay and Amazon and stuff like that. I highly recommend those, because I go in there and I don't like to meditate. I find meditation quite boring. I also, maybe arrogantly, don't feel I need to, because I'm constant channel for source. So why therefore would I need to meditate? But obviously I get confused about my own process, because you're looking at it, it's not like reading things for somebody else, or just generally, in fact. So I go in this little sauna tent thing, and I sit there, and it does deliver clarity. Anyway, so I went in it yesterday, and I'm sitting there sweating, and the anger's wearing off a bit, because you can't help to wear off when she's sweating, because you don't have the energy to be angry when you're sweating. So and suddenly I started channeling through, what is this book? So apparently the next thing I'm doing is writing a book, and it's really weird as well, because I started to write a book at the beginning of this year, but I couldn't write the book. It wouldn't flow. Well, it did kind of flow a bit, but my ego was brushing up against me writing that book, and my ego was saying to I was like, well, how can I write the book? The book is about twin flame process, obviously, because that's what I talk about here. This is the book that I've got to write about the process and everything that I've talked about along the way. And but when I started to write it at the beginning of the year, I was like, well, how can I write this book when I don't have the ending to the book? Because I can't write this book until I know that what happens at the end is reunion. And I haven't had that yet. So I don't have the perspective on that from my own personal, my own personal experience of it. So I don't feel that I can write the book. That's what I was talking to my guides about. But anyway, it seems that I'm meant to write the book now. So in a way, it's kind of, yes, it was disappointing that it's not my reunion and it's something else, again, more work of something for me to do. But in a sense, it's also a relief, because it means after walking around here for 2 months, I mean, on top of the past 14 years, the 2 months of the last 2 months of just like, I feel like there's something I should be doing, but I don't know what it is coming up inside of me. I've now got something to do. So that's what I'm going to do next, is get on with that. So I don't know how long that's going to take. I'm hoping it's not going to take very long. Obviously, from my egoic perspective, I would like it to be done in about a week, but I don't really have any say over that. We'll have to see how long that takes. What I found really interesting as well is that I've done readings for a few people that are writing books or have written books, and that's always come up in the readings for them. And whenever that's come up, I've been like, I wonder why I'm not writing a book. And that's over the years. Sometimes I've kind of thought that. And I guess I knew even back then, some of these readings were a long time ago, that I'd be writing the book, but I just thought it would be a lot later and not sooner. And another one, really interestingly, is one person I read for, what came up straight away in the reading was that she was halfway through a book and she had to finish it. So things like that. So I just wanted to share where I'm at really in my process, and I'll be back with more videos. I feel like the videos I'm going to come back with are going to be more like the last video I put out, which is just about the process, rather than anything about my personal process. I feel, because that's just how it feels like. I'm not meant to talk about me anymore now. So, but I think I'll be back with some videos. So I just wanted to let everyone know where I'm at, really. I'm still going to do readings and sessions for people. That's still going to be part of what I do, I feel. Of course, I'm talking from ego right now as me, so that could all change on the flick of a switch, but I don't know. There's a lot I don't know still, and I feel that's why I've got to write the book, because I feel like as I draw towards the end of the book, I'm going to get everything I'll get everything that I need to know, so we'll have everything that could possibly be known about this process. So that's that now. Okay, so I hope you're all well. I hope you're all finding clarity in whatever it is that you're looking for. I suggest if you're not, you get a sauna, cheap home sauna, or take a bath. I'm going to go now. I'm still open for reading sessions. All the information is in the box below. Sending you loads of love. Hope you had a good moon. Hope you have good holidays, Christmases, everything like that. Lots of love. Bye.